Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. Hey, you know what? I had a colonoscopy this weekend. Katie had COVID, but you know who had it worse than us? Coach, he went to the game at Tampa. We're going to break it down for you right here on the OZone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. That's Coach, that's Katie, and I'm the Diva. We're here to talk all things Leafs. Well, hey, the Leafs finally get the power play going, I guess. Maybe we can talk about that. I don't know. Unfortunately, they had 8 power plays. Penalties called against... who cares? Dreadful game 4 in Tampa. KD, what happened? What'd you see?
Well, I mean, it's a clear game of not starting on time and not much intensity early and running into a buzzsaw of guys who are motivated, established, confident team that they took them apart early and often and made it ugly. It'll be well documented by the end of this episode how poorly the D did. However, I want to point out on this team always and often. The tempo is set by our forwards. They did none of that. They were horrific in their own end. First goal, have a winger with his back to the net the entire shift, causing the turnover, and no help on the back check, no third man high, no help through the neutral zone. So I'm gonna heap some blame onto the forwards. I know the second half will be focused mostly on the D, but it just was a terrible performance that way. This team will win and die based on their forwards, and their forwards were the third best team out there that night.
Yeah, no, the refs were way better than the forwards. Coach, what happened? What'd you see?
So I was at the game, as you guys know, and it was a horrendous game, right? So. I'm trying. I want to be sort of glass half full and glass half empty, if that's okay. So let me start just by saying something nice, right? Here's a friend of the podcast here, Gord Stellix, just celebrated a birthday. He texted me between the first and second. He's like, I can't believe we were subjected to that. Sure. So happy birthday, Gord. He had a good sense of humor about it. He's with Nick here, who's also a friend of the pod. So. We all picked the Leafs to win that game, but this series has gone back and forth. So I can't say I didn't see that one coming. Here's a version of a text I sent to you guys, bunch of other people, right? I went to that game. I got on a plane at 5:30 in the morning to get there, and as I say here, I hope we don't get blown out tonight. It felt like maybe it could happen, and it did. Yeah. But look, sports is the ultimate reality show, right? And a true fan, you got to have conviction. You got to make an investment, maybe not of money, but certainly of time. We spend a lot of time on here, and you never know what's going to happen. So if you get a chance to go to that game, you got to go. Here's the scoreboard. It's a 7-3 loss. Okay. But, hey, we could have won 2 nights ago. So we had to go to that. The seats weren't bad. Here's a view. We were 6 rows up.
Those are good.
I could smell Vasilevsky's pads. It was that close. And it was a warm day here. So a kudos to Nick for going. That guy left on a moment's notice to go down to this game. So he took the bull by the horns too. He's like, I get a chance to go see a playoff game, I'm going. So it was a horrendous effort. However, we all called the Leafs in 7. And so glass half full guy is saying, It's a best of 3 here. We couldn't have expected to be up 3-1 at this time, so take our chances.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think it's a good point. I've done most of my whining about the refs in the last pod, although I'll do a little bit of it right now. 11 calls like that. A lot of them were dumb bonehead calls. They were penalties, a lot of them. But in the playoffs... Normally it's evened out and you don't really call a lot of bull crap, and it was a little bit chintzy. What else do I want to say? Hey, 88 scores twice. And there's something glass half full. He's still a -3 on the series. He now moves into a tie for first place for scoring for the Leafs. What do you know? That says something. Remember a few days ago when Marner and Matthews had 6 points and were leading the playoffs in points? Well, that was a long time ago, it seems like now. They have had a bit of a tough slog in their matchups, and when they've been on the ice, the chances haven't been going the Leafs' way. They've been going Tampa's way, which is a concern. I'm sure we'll dig into it a little bit there. And the Leafs continue to miss the net a lot. I know KD brings this up all the time, but they continue to miss the net a lot, and you just can't score goals that way. Anyways, Coach, what do the Leafs need to do in Game 5 when they come home to reverse the fortunes yet again in this series?
So here's the glass half empty guy. The guy who's been a Leaf fan for 53 years. The guy who's seen all this shit go down the same way. So, look, penalties, come on. It was 4-0 before the penalties ever had any kind of bearing on this game. If you hit a guy in the face with your stick, it's a penalty. By the way, all 4 games have been called the same. How do we not know that it's going to be called tight by this time? It took Tampa 3 games. They figured it out last game. We got to figure it out. Look, the next 3 games are a referendum on Kyle Dubas and Sheldon Keefe. Okay? Yeah, that's great. They're nice guys. Keefe's good in front of the camera, but you have to win a series. I'm going to save Dubas for later. Okay, and I hope I don't get into it in the next few days. But look, Sheldon Keefe is handpicked by that guy. He's been outcoached by John Tortorella. Okay, Torts is a good coach. He's being outcoached by John Cooper. He's probably the best coach out there. He was outcoached by Dominic Ducharme in last year's playoffs. That guy took my order 3 weeks ago at a Saint-Hubert in Dollar des Armeaux. He's out of the game. He's outcoached every time. We've had a special teams advantage the last 3 playoffs going in, and our special teams have been bad. And they've been outplayed in all 3 of these series, this one so far. Now, he's somewhat limited by the roster. I'll give you that. I mean, what's he going to do? Throw Kyle Clifford and Simmons in again and expect to get more secondary scoring? He's handcuffed up front. He's also handcuffed by the fact that the best 4 defensemen shoot left, and only one of them can play the right side. All guys that shoot right are 6'7" guys. Okay? You got Justin Hall, who treats the puck like it's covered in fire ants. Lyubushkin plays the puck like he's turned his stick over and he's playing it with the butt end. And Liljegren's too small. So which of those 2 guys are you going to play? I blame Keefe so far because he has not adjusted enough. He didn't play Hall with Riley to see if that would work. So he's stuck with Lyubushkin there. And that pair is struggling. He also didn't get Marner away from Matthews when they were getting dominated in Tampa. Right. Make them force them to choose which group Cirelli is going to cover. He'll stay with Matthews. Maybe Tavares gets going. Okay? But I think we need to unlock Morgan Riley. Here's what I would do. Here's the pairs I would have for Game 5. This is the adjustment I'd make. Thanks to our graphics department for these sweet graphics. I would have Brody with Riley. We got to unlock Riley. We need Riley to get going. Everybody plays better with Brody. +1 again last night in that abysmal effort.
Yeah,
I played
+1 in that game.
Giordano with Hall and Muzzin with Lyubushkin. I don't care who's second and third. Doesn't matter. But I would not bring Liljegren back in at this point. I'd mix him up. And I'll leave you with one other thing, guys. Nylander is almost dead to me. Watching that in person, the eye test, he does not care. He stops on pucks all the time. Yeah, he had 2 goals in garbage time. But I'm telling you, the only way he's not fully dead to me is that he's got a chance to do something in these last 3 games of consequence. So like Magic Max here said, or Miracle Max in The Princess Bride, he's only mostly dead right now, okay? So when he's all dead, the only thing you do is go through his pockets looking for loose change. This guy here, Johnny Hockey, seen here, worried about going into the corner and getting into a battle, so he puts on the brakes. He thinks Nylander is soft. Look, you got Tavares grinding. You got Kerfoot and Blackwell, little guys grinding. Marner, Matthews, they're all grinding. Mikheyev, Engvall, they're in there. And Nylander is stopping on pucks. Here's what he has to do to win me back. Just fight through one fucking check in the next 3 games. Fight through one check. I mean, my goodness, he's getting paid, what, 8, 7, 8? Do something. That's my glass half empty.
Okay. Well, Katie, that's a tough act to follow.
Scotty, I do agree with you for a bunch of this stuff about bringing back the band. I think, well, we're back at home, so we'll reunite the first line again like it was, punting back up there. I want to also reunite the third line. That means we have Kampf and we have Mikheyev and we have Engvall going. We want to try and get a jump there. I do love the idea of supporting. I think the most important move is to help Riley. I think you got to put Brody back. We're in the best 2 out of 3, and your best players have to be the best players, and Riley's one of them. He has to be. He has to put Brody back there. I actually am feeling more comfortable with Muzzin at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm actually interested in sticking that band back together, 8 and 3, Muzzin and Hall back together, and then going Brody and Lyubushkin probably first before you stick in Liljegren. So I like to see them definitely do that. Also, we have to. I mean, I know we haven't addressed it because they've scored the odd goal in the power play. The power play is dreadful. They are not shooting the puck. Matthews is on a strong side. I was harping up about this all like or during the regular season. He gets the puck on his strong wing and he has to create his own shot. It's not there. Then he goes back. Then they give it back to him. He tries to create his own shot. It's not there. They go back to the point. They got to get rid of that. They have to stop doing that. I would actually put Matthews at the point. I would put Riley over on his off wing on the other side, and I would put Nylander at the top there. I would actually, at that point, I would put Simmons in front of the net, and I would put Marner down deep. And you look to do a one-timer between Nylander and Matthews, and they should get 3 or 4 shots of power play. Just do that. Just shots on net. Shots. Every once in a while, you can move it over to Riley for a one-timer. All of those shots have to go. Second power play, Tavares is in the middle. You have Spezza who does shoot. You'll get more hands in front of the net with Spezza being able to tip it in. And you got to do something on this power play. At the very least, if you're not going to change the personnel around, have the move. In the regular season, at least they moved around and they switched sides. They're on the same side all the time doing exactly the same thing. And it's being covered. Like, it's being covered easily. They know it's coming and they're covering it.
Are you saying they've made adjustments, Kev?
Yeah. They made adjustments game 2, and the Leafs haven't figured it out. And like at some point, you know, you gotta change that part. That part is driving me. That part is really driving me crazy. Because you know what, Devo, if the Leafs were scoring on the power play, we'd be loving the play calls. We'd be loving the refs right now. Yeah. Everything would be great. We'd be loving the fact that they're raising their hand every second time. The problem is they're not getting any shots on net. Spezza's played half the series, and I'm sure he's taken more shots on the power play than anyone else. And he barely plays the power play. It's crazy.
So let me ask you this, guys. Do you have Matthews, Marner, do they go out and you just pin your ears back and say, look, we got to beat Killorn, Point, and Cirelli? Or do you start swapping those guys?
Not game 5, right? He got them away from them. They played against the Kucherov line in games 1 and 2. And that's what we'll do game 5. Game 6 is when you got to do something different.
Yeah. Okay. Split them. So, all right, folks, this is what we do. We're going to do it real quick today. We do it. You know what we're going to do. We always do this. This is when we lay it on the line. We're going to make some predictions. We've called the series already. We're going game to game. What is going to happen tomorrow night in Toronto? KD?
Leafs 6-5. Let's remember, every series is tight except for the Colorado series, and most of the top seeds are losing. So Leafs are not in a terrible spot. Tied 2-all, going back home. They're going to win a wild one, and we're going to have good feelings going back to Tampa.
Coach?
I don't have confidence in us making adjustments, but I haven't picked against the Leafs all year, and I'm not going to start now. I think Matthews is going to figure it out, get a pair, 5-4 win.
All right. First goal wins. I think Matthews gets it early, and the Leafs roll to a nice 4-2 win. There you have it, folks. Everything you need to know about the Leafs, about your buds. Take a nap, eat right, breathe, and hold on. We'll see you on the other side right here on the OZone.